You see the text where he literally says, like, I love you.
Of course, it's edited in a way where it looks terrible, right? It's edited in kind of slanderous way. But to me, it kind of just sounds like
slanderous. What?
Let me talk. To me, it almost seems like it's like dirty talk. Like he doesn't sound like he's genuinely talking like I'm gonna rip you. It sounds like he's talking like a seductive way. It sounds like he's talking to a girl that asked for it in a sense, right? It sounds like it's just like dirty play talk.
All right, everybody. Joining me now is Tyson Hockley, a commentator and media personality who is a big Andrew Tate fan here in Miami. Tyson, thanks for joining me.
Of course, man. I appreciate it for having me.
So I guess just to kind of frame the conversation, I'm wondering what you see in Andrew Tate as a figure, as a commentator, as an influencer that is redeemable because or positive or inspiring. Because when I see him, I just see him, you know, blatantly posting anti-Semitic insults, calling people Jews as an insult. I see him like trolling and putting down insulting women. I see him bragging about how he doesn't read books, even though he's the author of several books, kind of admitting that he's, you know, not a particularly educated or informed person. What is the before we get into all the criminal allegations, like what is the redeeming value in Andrew Tate for someone like you?
I mean, he inspires people to aim upwards in life, right? Like, he doesn't inspire you to be like a chud in life. He inspires you to like be ambitious, be a go-getter. And that's part of the reason why I'm 18 years old from Canada. And now I'm in a place like Miami doing podcasts with big names like Sneeko, Nick Fuentes. I was actually supposed to have Tate on my podcast. Actually, the last tweet that Andrew Tate ever tweeted before getting arrested was replying to my video saying that we're going to do a podcast. So I was supposed to have Tate on as well, and maybe it will happen if he gets out soon. But it's part of the reason I'm doing all these big things at such a young age is because of Tate's like kind of message of like, get out there, get into the world, be active. And don't get me wrong, it's not just Tate. Like I listen to a lot of people like John Zerka, like he's very much kind of like a mentor figure to me, but no, it's kind of like Tate that
go get it, like ambitious, aim high message. That doesn't seem very unique.
Yeah.
That seems like something thousands of gurus and people push that are, you know, successful businessmen.
I mean, the way that Tate did it was unique because he kind of popped off in 2022. He combined comedy with that kind of go-getter mindset, and he resonated with the youth through like collabs like Aiden Ross and all these people. Obviously, he was all over the TikTok algorithm as well. So, yeah, he's very much able to speak to the youth for sure. And I don't know, I with it.
Do you just do not care about any of the like wildly insane or offensive things he says?
I mean, no, like it's free speech. Like I have a thick skin. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he said like an offensive thing. It's like, obviously, do I agree with all of it? No. I mean, I don't agree with all of it. Like some of it's kind of crazy. Some of it obviously is shock factor. You don't, okay, bro, you don't go viral by coming on the internet and saying, oh, like everybody's a great person and, oh, you're great. And it's like spreading all positivity. There's got to be a bit of shock factor. So what you do is what Tate does. You come in with the shock factor at first, you get everybody's attention, and then you can kind of pivot to a more positive message afterwards, which I feel like is what he's done.
But what is this positive message besides be ambitious, try to make money, which, you know, people have been selling self-help books about and how to get rich and all this stuff is like not unique at all.
Dude, what person my age is reading a self-help book from some like to touch boomer?
Well, there's
You know
like
what I'm saying? It's
podcasts and all sorts of stuff.
yeah, but it's like, is that all over Gen Z's TikTok For You page? Like, oh, what color is your Bugatti? Like, it just, he talks in a way that resonates, I guess, with my generation. You can say, oh, low attention span, you guys don't read books. That's a fair point. That's honestly a fair point. I agree. I probably should read more books. I agree with you. But I don't know, Tate just kind of delivers the whole package in a way that resonates. And you ask any young entrepreneur, I met a lot of them being out here in Miami, you ask them, they all say, yeah, Tate was one of the main figures that inspired me to start making a lot of money. I'm talking kids 18 years old making like 50, sometimes 100K a month. You ask them and they're like, yeah, Tate very much inspired me to get going.
And
So,
how do you, what is your perception of how Andrew Tate made most of his money?
I think it's pretty degenerate. I'm not going to lie, but is it illegal? That's another question.
But that's a role model, somebody who makes their money doing degenerate things.
Well, I mean, what he'll say is he doesn't promote that. Like, he doesn't go out and tell people to do a webcam studio. I disagree with it. I think it's kind of filthy. I think it's kind of degenerate. And you could argue, okay, maybe there's a bit of karma involved for that. Fair enough. Is it illegal? That's completely another topic. I mean, there's
Right, we'll
plenty of
come to
people
the
that do that.
criminal
So
stuff, but it's like you're saying this guy
mm,
is an inspiration to you, but also that he made all his
mm.
money and his success in degenerate ways. You don't
I
see
mean,
any.
brother, here's the thing. People can have good things and bad things about them. Just because I like some of his message that's like inspiring to the youth doesn't mean I support cam websites. You know what I'm saying? And he disavows that too. He says that that's degenerate and he says not to do that, which you could say he's a hypocrite. Fair point, right? But just because I agree with his positives doesn't mean I have to condone everything. I'm not like in a
Sure.
cult, you know. I don't need to believe in his bad activities. It's like with anything in life, you take the good, leave the bad.
So you tweeted that there should be a peaceful protest in Miami to free Andrew Tate, who of course has been
Mhm.
apprehended by federal authorities facing extradition to the United Kingdom, where he's a British citizen on over 40 different criminal charges, including. So
Mhm.
you said there should be a peaceful protest in Miami to free Tate. You repeatedly tweeted free Tate. And then I'm going to play a video real quick of you showing up outside where Tate is being held for the audience
Mhm.
that went viral. So let's watch that.
Let's go.
All right, everybody. I'm currently outside the jail where Andrew Tate is being held. And, dude, I don't see anybody here, bro. There's not a single... I mean, it is raining, to be fair. But, bro, not a single person with a sign or a protest or anything, guys. Look at this. I'm pretty sure that right up there, it's like one of these buildings. It's pouring rain, but nobody here. What's going on?
So
The
you
CAPCA.
did go on to find one person that you also interviewed who did show up to support Tate, but he
Yeah.
did not get the outpouring of support you were hoping for. I guess I don't understand, like, why would you want Tate to be freed exactly?
Well, it's because I don't believe in my heart that he's guilty of the things that he's accused of. And people are like, oh, you defend rapists. I absolutely do not. It's obviously disgusting. People will be like, oh, this heartless kid right here doesn't care if somebody's a rapist and he defends that. I absolutely don't, right? If I truly thought that Tate did these things, I would say lock him up for life. That's absolutely disgusting what he's being charged of. But I don't believe in my heart that he is guilty of that. And you notice how they take the most heinous thing to try to slander somebody's reputation, right? If they're like, oh, Tate is in jail for tax evasion, nobody would care. Nobody would give a they go right to the most heinous crime possible that the normies like yourself and like the people watching are be like, oh, wow, like, I can't believe that, right? Like, they'll pick the most heinous crime possible because they're trying to defame him. They're trying to slander his name,
Well, it's
right?
only defamation or slander if it's not true. And so the whole
Yeah.
thing is that it would
But
he's being
I mean,
he's being
it's been
extradited.
3
Hang on
years,
one sec.
brother. It's been 3 years. They dropped the case in Romania. Wouldn't you think if there's,
Well,
like,
they
such
actually it's not dropped. It's
clear-cut
active. It's
evidence,
ongoing. But
clear-cut evidence, you'd think that, like, you know, maybe they'd,
but
like,
isn't that the
actually be
whole point of
charged?
extradition, right? Is that he would be brought to the United Kingdom and he would face the charges. They would present the evidence in court. That's the whole point of him being extradited. So if you think he's
Yeah.
innocent, I want to read you a Tate tweet from 2025. He
Mhm.
said he was taunting the authorities. Another day, not arrested. Come on, arrest me. Let me exonerate myself in a court of law. Let's
Mhm.
go. So the extradition process is just sending him to the UK, where he is a
Yeah.
citizen. He faces over 40 charges, including 10 accusations or 10 charges, and then they'll be presented in court and he can exonerate
Mhm.
himself if he's
Yeah.
actually innocent. Why would you be against that?
I mean, I never necessarily said that I was against that,
But you said
right? Like
free him from
yeah,
his
yeah.
current extradition process.
Well, what I mean is free him from where he's being held right now. He's being held in, like, solitary confinement without trial, and he spent a ton of time in jail without trial. Why is that the case? Why is he being treated like a
How do you know that
murderer?
he's being held in solitary?
I mean, look at his tweets. He's tweeting every single day. There's
Bro,
cockroaches.
he
I'm
tweets
in a
all
jail
sorts of
cell
stuff.
next to a murderer.
How do
I
we
saw
know
some shit
that's
he was, like, next to a
true?
cannibal. How do you know it's not true?
I mean, you kind of have to support the assertion you're making with evidence. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't view him as a trustworthy narrator of events.
I'm just saying I'm not against him going to court. Yeah, and even he's not. By the way, he said himself, innocent men don't run. So how about we actually take this to court and stop dragging it on? You notice how
That's what extradition
the
is.
process is the punishment. They're dragging this for years, trying to slander his name. Why don't we just go to court? Let's do that. Let's speed it up. Why are we torturing the man and putting him next to literal killers and murderers in solitary confinement? Like, You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, he has not been convicted of anything. Let him have his day in court.
But you're
you know?
protesting against his extradition, and the whole point is to send him there, and he gets his day in court. That's the point. You can't prosecute someone without extraditing them first, and you're protesting the extradition.
I'm just protesting the fact that he's being held with no conviction.
That's just any sort of pretrial detention. But anyway, I guess I would love to know how confident you are that he is innocent of all the more than 40 charges. Like, give me a percentage. What percent confident are you that he's innocent of all charges?
I mean, dude, like, I'm not going to stake my whole reputation on a man that I think is a rapist. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say, like, I'm like 99% sure he's innocent.
And
I could be an idiot. And this clip will be played if it turns out he actually was guilty. And I'll take the full blame. I'll say I was stupid, right? But I truly do not believe in my heart that he's guilty. So time will tell.
do you know how many counts he's facing?
I mean, bro, they could throw as many counts as they want, you know? That's kind of the whole point, is like they're trying to slander his name. So yeah, I'm sure they threw a ton of counts at him.
Do you know what the actual charges are? Like the different specific crimes he's been charged with in the UK?
I believe human trafficking, assault, to name a few.
Yeah, so there's more than 10 counts of 3 accounts, or actually multiple accounts, because it's spread across 2 different periods. So they're very serious offenses.
Yeah, but like, who are these girls? Like, I've seen countless videos of Tate's victims coming out and saying that Tate did nothing wrong. So who are these girls that he allegedly raped? And also, let me say this: why on earth would a millionaire need to rape women? You don't think he has access to women?
Tell that to
why would
Jeffrey
he even
Epstein and all his associates. Rich and powerful men do these kinds of things because they
but
think
Jeffrey
they can get
Epstein's
away with
different
it.
because he was like a satanic pedophile, you know? Like, he was actually doing like rituals with kids for like power and Tate's not a Satanist.
But that's not the point. Is that you can't suggest that wealthy men never rape anyone. That's obviously not the case.
I'm just saying, I don't think Tate needs to rape women.
But that's not what rape is about. So. It's not about a lack of availability of sex. It's about power and violence and asserting yourself.
So who are these women then? Where are they?
They're in the United Kingdom waiting to accuse him. Their names aren't public.
Interesting. Okay.
Until the proceedings are underway. I mean, that's just that's a privacy protection that they have.
So let's see what happens in court then, brother.
Well, but you're trying to stop him from going to court. You're saying free him. They're trying to send him to court.
Have his day in court, and even he said innocent men don't run. I'm pretty sure he wants to go to court and prove his innocence.
But then why are so many of his allies lobbying against his extradition?
That he shouldn't be able to go through the legal process.
You went outside where he's being held and tweeted free Tate. And he's being held
without trial. That's ridiculous.
Well, he's being held in advance of an extradition hearing where he's contesting. He's saying, I don't want to be extradited to the United Kingdom.
I mean, fair enough, right? Like, didn't he already beat the charges in Romania? Like, why?
What do you mean? It's a different country, different victims, different accusations.
Focus on one country at a time. You said that they haven't been dropped in Romania. Okay, so let him fight the Romanian. Like, why are we trying to?
I don't think he wants to go back to Romania, but the accusation there is that the Romanian system is corrupt or not, a fair and just system. Which there might be some truth to that. The British system has extensive due process protections, right? The presumption of innocence, a jury trial, a right to counsel, a right to cross-examine witnesses, everything. So he'll get all of this when he is inevitably extradited. But I'm curious because I just want to. Does Andrew Tate, to you, not seem... Obviously, I think everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But sometimes when there's so much smoke, there has to be a fire somewhere. And to me, he seems like exactly the type of man who would women based on his public statements and messages.
Because he said women can't drive.
Not because of that, actually, because he said he bragged about in voice notes how he enjoys when women struggle against him and don't want to be having sex with him.
But then you see the video. Well, I haven't seen that, but I've seen the video of the chick that Tate was allegedly beating. She came out and said like she's into that. Like that's like a niche.
That's not part of this case,
that's
though.
Like a niche.
That's not one of the women accusing him in this case that's charging him. I know what you're talking about, and that's not part of what I view, because I understand she has come out and said that. I want to play you a clip from the BBC where they show.
BBC.
Yeah, they show voice notes and text messages from Andrew Tate shared with them by women in the UK who are accusing him. Listen to this.
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. Loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Why am I like that? Why?
Whilst we were having sex, he put his hand on my throat and strangled me until I lost consciousness. But he was still having sex with me when I kind of came back around again.
I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes you forget exactly how lucky you were to get by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather you didn't like that I was thinking I can do whatever I want to? That's what it is. I'm the smartest person on this planet.
And then the next day, one of the whites of my eyes had gone completely red. Apparently, that's kind of common in domestic abuse cases where there's a lack of oxygen in your brain. So your blood vessels like start bursting to kind of try and get the oxygen there.
Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't pass out.
But he kind of kept saying, I own you, you belong to me, like threatening to kill me.
Chill the out. Jesus Christ, I thought you were cool.
So when you hear him in his own words like that, and you see the text where he literally says, like, I love you, you're still 99% confident this guy is innocent of all the more than 40 criminal charges that he faces in the United Kingdom.
Okay, so of course it's edited in a way where it looks terrible, right? It's edited in kind of slanderous way. But to me, it kind of just sounds like
slanderous.
Let me talk. To me, it almost seems like it's like dirty talk. Like he doesn't sound like he's genuinely talking like I'm gonna rip you. It sounds like he's talking like a seductive way. It sounds like he's talking to a girl that asked for it in a sense, right? It sounds like it's just like dirty play talk.
I love raping you is dirty play talk. These women saying they're strangled and passed out.
It's very, very edgy, right? Obviously, and that's going to sound ridiculous to anybody, but it's like, I don't know, it almost sounds like he's talking to a consenting chick in those voice notes. I'm not going to lie, bro.
Do you have any sisters?
No, I'm an only child.
Okay, well if you had a 20-year-old sister, for example, would you be cool with her dating Andrew Tate? Would you support that?
I mean, that situation does look sketchy, right? I'm just saying it kind of sounds like it's just dirty talk, right? But
so we're still 99% sure.
I mean, bro, like I said, that's a obviously edited video from the BBC, which is made to make him look like a terrible person.
I don't know, man. You could edit my texts and voice notes however you want out of context, and they're never going to sound like that.
I mean, fair enough, bro, but like, hey, like, let the man have his day in court. We don't.
I
need
agree.
To, like, hold him
That's why I want him extradited to the United Kingdom. Let's go, and he can enjoy prison, which he begged for and asked to be.
Why has it been 3 years of him being in and out of jail, solitary confinement with the cockroaches, and still no actual court hearing? It's like the process is the punishment.
He's had court hearings, but I understand what you're saying. He's also tried to evade and traveled around and moved constantly and tried to jump up the process.
They didn't try to evade. They said he's free to travel. He's not evading anything.
He could have gone back to the United Kingdom to face these charges years ago. They are only now extraditing him. But I guess, look, we'll leave it there. You made your case for why you support him. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, and let me just say again, like, I don't support rapists. Like, if I genuinely thought he did it, I'd say put him in jail forever, right? That's a common misconception that people have. These are obviously heinous crimes, very degenerate. And I'm not saying that Tate's a perfect man. He has a degenerate past. I'll say that. So is it impossible for it to be true? No. I just personally don't believe it is. But hey, if it comes out that it's all true, this clip will be played and I'll look like I'll look like an idiot. So we'll see.
All right.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, the audience can make that one up for themselves. Thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.